opportunity to speak with you for a few minutes about one of my favorite oils. I hope it's one of yours as well, doTERRA On Guard, and the role I feel it plays in supporting a healthy immune outcome for you and your families. There's many ways to classify the use of essential oils and the value that they bring. One of the things I would like to point out, and I think this is critical for you to know and understand, our own personal experience. And so your personal experience remains one of the most significant. I would like you to know that the recommendations and information that is shared, it's a confluence of science and research and the appropriate models of personal and professional use. On Guard essential oil, the blend, and the additional products within the On Guard line are core and central to a consistent model of resiliency expressed through your immunity. Let's begin by first classifying according to specific needs. Our body's need for immune response can be categorized as well. The first is an acute response. A good way to think about this is that acute generally suggests that there's an immediate or fast response that's needed. Then there's chronic response. This is thought of as a condition that may require long-term immune activity. And finally, of course, there's our efforts toward individual prevention. Now, more specifically, and a more simplified thought would be to suggest that we're in a constant cycle of immunity, which flows readily between our efforts for prevention and strengthening of the immune system and the need for effective and appropriate responses within the immune system. This also allows us to understand more fully the different types of immunity. For example, our innate or barrier immunity is primarily focused on prevention. Many of the doTERRA products available to you are formulated and developed specifically with this in mind. PB Assist, for example, is perfectly suited to support a healthy gut biome, along with its additional protective health promoting sequences. On Guard hand wash and the sanitizing mist is designed, of course, for healthy hand washing and sanitization. Purify Essential Oil is a wonderful blend, and it's especially effective for its diffusion qualities that helps to refresh the air and the environment. These are all great examples of products available to support your body's innate immunity as a whole. Now, cellular immunity is our response, as I mentioned earlier, to circumstances of immune need. If you're like me, you have several favorites that fit into this category of support. Some of my favorites include frankincense, doTERRA On Guard, and doTERRA Breathe. Many products like the doTERRA On Guard beadlets and throat drops demonstrate some of the innovative ways doTERRA has established essential oils and other oil-infused products as easy to understand, convenient and safe, and simple to use. Now, I don't mean to imply that everything is simple and easy to accommodate and resolve if we just use essential oils. I would like to imply that, and we've all probably had wonderful experiences with the essential oils. But many things are complicated. They're difficult, especially in circumstances of immunity. It makes good sense that we learn to do things consistently that enhance our body's ability to respond efficiently and fully. Today we know more about the essential oils. We know more about their constituents and the ways they influence the body and the systems that they work within. One thing to be mindful of is that there's immense complexity in the chemistry of essential oils, and each essential oil is unique in its own chemistry. Even seemingly subtle differences in chemistry can create notable and significant changes in the physical attributes of an essential oil, and certainly differences in the benefits that they provide as well. Many essential oils may seem similar in their chemistry, but they react and respond differently. This is one of the fundamental reasons why many of the essential oils are often suggested as ideal to provide healthy support for the body as a whole. We may have many ways to describe and separate essential oils by their chemical constituents. All oils, for example, contain terpene units such as monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes. Now, don't get so caught up in the terms I'm going to explain to you, because I'm going to give you just a few key points to remember. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that aside from terpenes, essential oils can also contain functional groups. These are things like esters and alcohols, ketones, and of course there's many, many others. For On Guard, I'm going to limit our conversation to just a couple of different things. One is monoterpenes, and then one is 3 specific functional groups, and how each one can relate to your own individual efforts to support a healthy immune capability. So let's begin with monoterpenes. Now, monoterpenes, in the most basic sense, are just a class of hydrocarbons and are one of several types of hydrocarbons that can be found in essential oils. Now, one you're very familiar with. The most common monoterpene is D-limonene, one of the most common forms of limonene, which is found abundantly in citrus oils. In many citrus oils, D-limonene, it's a dominant compound. And in some cases, like for example wild orange or grapefruit, it's nearly 100% of the oil's total chemistry. Now, there's been much in the way of study on D-limonene, and you're probably familiar with most of it. And specifically, its influence on glutathione and immunity is well understood through the clinical research. While many essential oils contain monoterpenes, here's a key point, that those rich in D-limonene are strong supporters of a healthy immune response. Now, while all essential oils contain terpenes, such as monoterpenes, essential oils are also identified by compounds within functional groups. Now, it's safe to say in a really general sense, essential oils, all essential oils contain terpenes and functional groups collectively. Several categories of functional groups exist, but there are only 3 that are relevant to our discussion about On Guard: aldehydes, alcohols, and phenols. There are notable and unique differences between each of these functional groups, but it's more pertinent and maybe simpler to suggest that each one has specific action and benefits for once again supporting your body's healthy immune response. Simply put, oils rich in alcohol, aldehydes, and phenols, and for that matter, we could also now add D-limonene as a monoterpene, are good supporters of the immune system as a whole. And remember that strengthening and supporting the immune system is a part of the cycle of immunity. We also discussed that many times we have acute and immediate needs within that. Some oils are formulated to address those needs specifically. For example, Breathe is a wonderful blend for easy breathing. Single oils like cinnamon, thyme, clove, rosemary, and eucalyptus may be used individually for specific needs unique to your own personal circumstance. Something I always appreciate most about the essential oils is that oftentimes they act fast and can help provide comfort and relief consistently. Remember the value of your own experience and the experience of other trusted individuals and sources. One trusted source I would suggest is the doTERRA chemistry wheel. Now here again, we're going to go into chemistry just a little bit, but I want you to learn how to use the chemistry wheel, and here's why it's so important. We categorize very carefully each essential oil for its dominant chemical characteristics. The wheel is separated into terpene units, both monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes, along, of course, with each functional group. Each one is represented on the wheel. In each section, you'll find essential oils you're familiar with, such as cinnamon, under the aldehyde section of the wheel. But you'll also note that additional oils could be easily considered for similar benefit. This is a good and productive way to take advantage of all of our many essential oils. With that basic understanding, let's look at the formulation of On Guard. It's important to note that several benefits emerge when blending essential oils. On Guard was one of the first blends we created in doTERRA. I believe it's a must-have for every home. So first, let's look at the specific formulation of On Guard. You should recognize that On Guard was formulated following the basic principles we discussed earlier. It contains wild orange, which includes high amounts of monoterpenes, more than 90% D-limonene, Clove essential oil contains high amounts of a specific compound known as eugenol. It's a phenol, and it supports the body's natural ability to be resilient. Cinnamon has high amounts of an aldehyde known as cinnamonaldehyde. Among other benefits, it's been shown to support the immune system response by inhibiting specific communication strains. Other oils, like rosemary and eucalyptus, contain an alcohol, which can be clarifying and supports healthy immune activity. All of these oils are found in the doTERRA On Guard blend. The blending of essential oils at doTERRA is a well-defined practice. It encompasses our knowledge of science, of chemistry, and the best methods of artful technique. Experts in chemistry, human physiology, and safety all work together to ensure the highest quality and specific outcomes for each blend that we create. While this all takes great skill, there are additional reasons why blending oils in this way, I believe, is essential. Blending essential oils, and especially in the case of On Guard, produces synergistic value. Synergy. It's a word that's often spoken of as a key benefit of essential oils. Let me explain it a little bit further. Diversity of chemistry that resides in a pure single oil naturally is greatly enhanced when oils are blended together. The most common phrase shared around synergy is the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. So in order to understand synergy wholly, it's good to first understand the basics of metabolism. Now, I'm really not being very fair to you, because first I said, hey, I'm going to talk about chemistry, but don't worry. Now I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to talk about metabolism, but don't worry. It's not going to be difficult, and it'll help you to understand a key point why I believe blended essential oils are significant. Now, all essential oils, we know that they're eventually metabolized by the liver, which can produce secondary and tertiary metabolites that create additional benefit through chemical reaction or response in the body as a whole. For example, limonene, which is found in citrus oils, we talked about it earlier, is primarily metabolized into pyrrolic acid. Although limonene itself is highly efficacious, pyrrolic acid mimics the effects of limonene and can demonstrate a stronger, longer-lasting effect. Another example is linalool acetate, which is present in high amounts in lavender, clary sage, bergamot, and other essential oils. Enzymes in the body metabolize linalool acetate to linalool. Based on these examples, it's easy to understand why all essential oils can exhibit synergy. In the case of a blended oil, however, there's a few notable differences in how we view synergy. Let me share a specific concept associated with On Guard. The blending of multiple oils, we already said, greatly increases the number and diversity of individual constituents, which may act on different targets within a single biochemical pathway, or, in due course, multiple biochemical pathways for a wider range of immune response and support than is achieved by any single oil or constituent on their own. Now, if you don't understand what I just said, let me make it really, really simple. What I said is that On Guard really works. On Guard is really valuable, and it's because of how the body metabolizes it, and because of the diversity in the chemistry, we have greater outcome and we have much greater benefit. This chemical synergy is what separates blends and single oils and separates essential oils as a whole from other forms of natural health practices. Now, one of the things I've consistently taught is that essential oils should become an integral part of your daily health routine. Though we may use oils based on episodic need, additional advantages are always gained when we learn to use them consistently. The metabolic synergy displayed by On Guard also lends itself to the safety of essential oils and blends in general, beyond the obvious nature of its quality and purity. On Guard is an oil blend, along with other products in the On Guard family, are really and ideally used in a daily maintenance model. While all essential oils are metabolized through the liver by enzymatic activity, blended oils often reduce metabolic enzyme depletion, primarily because of their chemical diversity. On Guard is a wonderful oil that can help with the cycle of immunity, preventing, strengthening, and responding.